Also, if you look at the back, that is our calendar for the last 3-ish weeks. I know it's got 2 blues on there. No one in here colorblind, right? Like I have at least one every year. I got a kid who just can't see the difference between them. The light blue stuff is you. The darker blue stuff that is shifted downward is the white day crew. Okay? So the maroon 2 group is the light blue stuff. Today we're going to do 2-6. You look at on the 12th, on Monday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week, you are going to do more practice with 2-6. An entire day of just translating word problems. Oh yeah, because it's not nearly as hard as we thought it was. And I want to do compound inequalities. I don't know if we're going to get there. We might just have to take an extra day with the word problem stuff. And then, is there anyone who knows they're going to be gone on the 20th, the day right before break? Because we will have our quiz, last quiz of the semester, over this inequality stuff on that day. Okay? So please don't skip the last day right before break. You want to get that done. When you come back, we're going to have 2 days of review and then final. Your final, just like everything else, is open notes, open everything. The review looked just like the final. They're the same type of problem in the same spot, just like we do for our quizzes. Okay? It's 10%, so long as you've been doing your daily stuff, so long as you are actually following along, taking notes, doing your assignments, that kind of business. Then you also get that grade replacement option. We talked about the Good Samaritan option. Extra credit is stupid. It is artificial grade inflation. You all know the class where you can almost sleep through it, but as long as you dressed up for homecoming and you brought in a couple packs of Kleenex, you're okay. Okay, that doesn't tell me what you know. But if you're at 80% or better on your completion, if you've been doing what you're supposed to, if you don't have a boatload of absences, then you come in on that final and you get a better grade on the final than your grade going into the final, grade replacement, that is your new grade. So you could be walking into the final with like a 71, get a 90 on the final, and I'd say, good job, you got a 90 for the class. Because it is a cumulative exam, and you showed me later that you understand it to a higher degree. Okay? But that's our last 3 weeks of what we got planned here. That's what we're doing. Okay? You all should be open to page whatever the junk that was. The end of 2.5. We had time at the end of class to work on 2.5. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Okay, if you would please. Checky, checky. Remember, when I go through all of this stuff, you are not getting full credit for having just answers. If I only see answers and no work, well, then we got problems. That's probably why tests might not look so good. Okay. So we had about, 20 minutes at the end of class? 8 problems or so to do. Checky, checky. If it went wonky on us, you got to ask, because we're doing more of it today. It's just going to get more complicated. Yeah. There might be some in that little box over there next to the snot rags. If not, I got more over here. Okay. There's always a big loaner box here. Okay. Okay. So, first 4. Yes, ma'am.
11 and 12 kind of.
Okay. So, 11, 11, 11. Draw your Paxton line. And ask, who's lonely? 0. 0 is a number. Stop hating on it. Okay? If 0 is a number, then I'm going to add 1 to both sides. Bring them a date. Now I got y over 10 is greater than 1. Y over 10 means y what 10? So if they're dividing, I multiply. Multiply by 10, multiply by 10. Cancel town. Okay, so I will get y is greater than 10. I know I got a circle at 10. What kind? Less ink here, less ink there. Womp. And when it says y is greater than 10, do y'all see? Not only y's are bigger to the right, but it makes a little arrow telling you which way to shade. Okay? Said 12 as well. Okay. Who's lonely? Bring them a date. Subtract 9 from both sides. Zero it out. Show me s over 6 less than or equal to negative 1. And when I see s over 6, they are dividing. If they're dividing, then I shall multiply. 6's cancel out. S, uh-oh, that's a negative. Do I need to flip my inequality? I'm not multiplying by a negative. There was a negative there. I'm not multiplying by a negative. So I just leave it as is. I go put a circle at negative 6. Is it going to be open or closed? More ink here, more ink there. And if s is less than a thing, left or right? To the left, to the left. Also, it's got that cute little arrow. As long as you've got the variable on the left-hand side, and that's going to be important today. As long as you've got the variable on the left side, it makes an arrow that tells you which way to shade. Okay, down below that, I hope we weren't scared of all the words, because it was blah, 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 do exactly what yours did before. Uh-oh. We had to make these ones. That's why we're doing a whole extra lesson just on translating these. The first thing you do, look for the words is, am, was, were, are. Being verbs. Do you see any of those? Is. When is gets smashed up next to greater than or less than or more than or bigger than or anything then, when is next to it, that tells me this is the inequality. Is greater than. So I put the greater than symbol. On the right-hand side, I know it's just 6. Like they just told me it's 6. I win. Okay. This side, though, when they say 4 less than half a number, that can be really confusing because we might think it's supposed to look like this. That's incorrect. Don't write that. Because less than is inequality, right? But does it have is less than? Does it have am less than? If it doesn't have the being verb, then it's not an inequality. Then it's our old translation stuff that we did way back when. When I see 4 less than, what does it mean numerically to be less than something else? I subtract, right? It's going to be smaller. When I see 4 less than, it tells me to put it at the end. I'm going to subtract 4 from something. Whenever I say less than or more than, it tells me put this at the end. Think of and then, okay, less than, more than, goes at end. Half a number. Do I know what the number is? So I put a variable. How do I say half of the variable? You could do 0.5n. Yes, it works. I would like n divided by 2 or x divided by 2. Okay. You can do 1/2 times x. You can do 0.5 times x. You could do x over 2. They're all the same thing. Are you okay with solving it once you see that, though? Add 4 times 2. You should have, if you done did it right, adding 4 is 10, times 2 is 20. I should have x is greater than 20 when I'm done with it. Okay, down below, I got to make another one. The table shows the prices for the items being sold at a sidewalk sale. John has only $20 to spend. Now we're talking about relevancy for teenagers. I only got so much money. Can you spend exactly that much money? So that means it's or equal to. So I know I'm going to have the line. If I only have $20 to spend, can I spend more than that or less than that? So that tells me I only have this much to spend, tells me it's going to be less than or equal to 20. The money I can spend is less than or equal to 20. All right. John's going to buy 1 DVD. Old book. He's buying DVDs and CDs. Like, I don't even know if your generation knows what a CD is.
Yeah, I have Johnny Cash on it.
I have the Johnny Cash collection. All 4 albums spanning like 50 years. Oh, it's good stuff. And there's a little insert for every single one of them, and it tells you like a history of the background of them. Like, what is truth? He played for Richard Nixon at the White House. Richard Nixon says, I want you to invite this guy to the White House. I want you to play a song for me. And he comes up, man in black, brings up his guitar, looks him right in the face, and he sings What is Truth instead, which is a song about shut up, old boomer. Listen to the kids because they're going to be in charge someday. Says it right to the president's face. God, I love Johnny Cash. Good guy. How much is 1 DVD on this? $8. Oh, I heard $8 and $6. Okay, DVDs, $8. So I know that I'm going to have $8 plus something because he bought this and other stuff. And he bought some paperback books. Well, I know how much they cost, but do I know how many he bought? All right, so I know it's $3 per book. How do I write that in mathese? 3 times however many books he bought. Y'all cool solving it? Yeah?
It's supposed to be n.
And sometimes The problem itself will even tell you what to use. Now, if you did that on test, unless it was like a specific type of formula, I wouldn't hold it against you. But sometimes they're just straight up going to tell you what to be using. Someone's properly caffeinated this morning. Okay. And then I would subtract 8, divide by 3. And get, he can buy up to 4 books. See, this is the part where you got to call me out. You corrected me.
Oh, brownie point.
Come on, get with the program here. Get vicious. Okay.
Watching the birds. You got sleep and she's not even like that caffeinated.
Oh no, I just didn't read the rest of the problem.
I checked it.
Yeah, it's laziness. All right, below that, write a sentence that compares two unequal expressions. You can literally just look at this back on your first page of the section. Your vocab says that's what an inequality is. Many word problems will use the phrase at most or at least. What do they mean? How about this for relevancy towards the end of the semester? You can have at most 5 absences in a class before you have to pass the final to get credit for the class. That is a school policy. If I say you can have at most 5 absences, can you have exactly 5? Yeah? So it's or equal to. Do I want less than that or more than that? Okay. You must have at least a 60% to pass the class. Can you have exactly 60? Some of us are like, ha, how do you think I'm in this class? Anyone? Anyone get exactly 60 to get through algebra half? So yes, it is or equal to. And if I say at least 60, can you get more than 60 or less than 60? More. Greater. Okay? You can figure out what inequality to use with a word problem by just asking yourself those questions. Okay? Just ask yourself the questions. Can it equal this? Can it be more than? Can it be less than? And then write it accordingly. So, if you got all that, 2.5. Solve inequalities. I would like you to solve and graph. Go! Solve and graph. You got room in the back of your packet. Okay, Bridger, what we do with these is every time we finish a section, at the beginning of the next day, you'll do a daily check. And it's just, since I only check your homework for completion, this tells me if you actually know stuff. So in the back of your packet, there's blank pages. You would label it 2.5 solve inequality, and then you do this problem right there. And that way, you don't even need a notebook for this class. Everything is just right in that packet. As long as you keep that packet safe, That's the only thing you need for this class. Okay, I put everything in there.
Oh no, that's a lot.
Too much pressure. Remember, for that graph, you don't need to do the full number line labeled with all your little tick marks. Is anyone still rolling? All right. How confident you feeling? Yeah? Who's lonely? All right. If he's lonely, he's lazy. Bring the date to him. I'm going to subtract 15. Remember, you want to bring the same kind of critter over there. And say 15 minus 15 is 0. Actually show that. If you put that big honking 0 there, hopefully you will see that there's a negative 1/3 x less than negative 3. Hopefully we didn't miss that negative. I think we all can agree by now, everything we've been doing for the last month or so, the negative is the bane of the math student. And then if I want to get rid of a negative 1/3 in front of it, okay, it depends how you say it, right? I could say divide by a negative 1/3 or multiply by a negative 3. In either case, it is going to go away. Negative 3 times the thing, negative 3 times the thing. The negative and the negative will cancel. 3 over 3, 1 over 1 cancels. Orange. So I get x. Negative 3 is 9. Did we remember? I put that negative 3 there. I multiplied by a negative. So I need to flip Pac-Man the other direction. So my graph should be open or closed circle.
Open.
I should have an open circle at 9. And should I go left or right? To the right, where things are bigger. I should have an open circle at 9 and go to the right. I don't need a full fancy number line there. I just need to see 9, open circle, right. In fact, that's going to be some of my pointage. Did you get 9? Did your circle and direction match? Did you remember to flip your inequality? Okay, so here, when you have the graph, if you didn't remember to flip the inequality, so then down here you have open circle left, that's still only 1 off because this is the thing that made it go the wrong direction. As long as you had the open circle, that's what I'm looking at down there. Okay. And then the steps. Did you get rid of the 3? Did you get rid of the 15? Okay. 1 for each step, 1 for flipping inequality, 1 for the final answer, 1 for your graph to look good. Okay, something out of 5. Questions about it? Okay. Then 2-6. 2-6 is blah, 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 do the exact same thing. We just made it a little more complicated. You look at the title of it, it says, now I've got a variable on both sides. So just like we did with our equations, we started with basic 2-step equations, then I started putting junk on both sides. What you got to be careful about with these is that sometimes as you're solving, you're going to end up with your variable maybe on the wrong side, or you're going to have negatives. Okay? Notice in every one of these, they got a negative. And in every one of these negatives, they then said, okay, now after I divide, look, that inequality flips directions. That's because negative doesn't just mean negative, it means opposite. So if I said the opposite of my answer is on the ground, then my actual answer is not on the ground. If I said the opposite of my answer is headed left, then my actual answer should be headed right. Okay? That's why I have to flip the inequality. Like the whole Super Trooper thing. Y'all ever seen Super Troopers? Like 2 of you? Okay? That's what a negative does. It's that duck going across the old arcade game, and every time you hit it, patink, with a negative, it goes the other direction. Okay? End credit scene. It's great. Don't watch it at school. It's horribly inappropriate. It's just really funny. Okay? This is just showing you the whole negative business. Sometimes, so I'll put next to this, if I've got y less than or greater than or equal to 2, sometimes I end up with something like this. Maybe I'm solving my inequality, and at the end of the day, it looks like that instead. And that just sounds weird when you say it. 2 is less than or equal to y. Okay? I want you to think about your bank account. Some of you start crying. Okay? Think about your bank account, and if I asked you, how much money you got in your savings? And if you said something like, I don't know, I think like 200 is less than or equal to savings. Huh? Oh, 200 smaller than savings. Dude, what? Don't your eyes kind of roll up into your head and you got to do some mental gymnastics? Like, okay, hold on. If 200 is less than the savings, then the savings is more than 200. And as soon as I say savings is bigger than 200, savings is more than 200, I'm like, oh, okay, 200 that way. It's always easier when you've got the variable on the left side to understand what it means. Now, I say always, that is presuming a type of thinking, but for most folks, variable on the left is just easier to say and easier to gronk, okay? So, everything that we're doing today, the way the book likes to do it, you don't have to do it this way, but remember, when I was doing the whole I don't care what you move, just move something thing, now they're going to say, nah, I want you to move the variable first. And I want you to put it on the left side. Every time. They want to do that because at the end of the problem, I want my variable on the left so it's easier to say. Other than that, it's the same old that we've been doing. You draw your Paxton line. And you run through your steps. As of last week, I would have said, I don't care what you move, just move something. Now I'm going to say, no, get your variable on the left. Do that first. So, how do I move the variables onto the left side? I got to add 6 m's. Okay. Show me that zero's out. And then, be careful, I'm putting the 6m with the m. I want m's with m's, turtles with turtles. M plus 6m. I got 7 m's now. There's still a plus 10 there. There's still a 31. And now I can play the Who's Lonely game and move on with my day. Who's lonely? All by himself. So I'm going to bring him a date. I'm going to be in his mom's basement, trolling people on Reddit for the next 20 years. Okay? I'll subtract 10 from both sides. I will show that 10 minus 10 is 0. I got 7 m's left over. What is 31 minus 10? 21. And finally, m ain't by itself yet. I'll divide both sides by m, or 7. Which one? Okay. I want the 7 by itself. Or the m by itself. Okay, womp. And I get 3. And by now I think we're okay with the graphing part. Graph the solution. I am going to draw a open or closed circle. More ink here, more ink there. And do a closed circle at 3. And then which way am I headed? Left or right? This is another reason that I want my variable on the left-hand side. If I had 3 less than or equal to m, Like, I don't know, what if I said, what if I said 6'5" is taller than Leighton? 6'5" is taller than Leighton.
Probably is.
Well, you're like, I mean, yeah, but, huh? But then if I flip it around, I say Leighton is shorter than 6'5". It just sounds smoother, right? 3 is less than or equal to M. So where's M? But if I flip it around, this way, I've got that arrow telling me which way to go. I've got that arrow showing me which way to shade. But if I have my variable on the right-hand side, see how the arrow's pointing the wrong direction. Okay? Just be careful. You're going to solve like normal. We just want that variable on the left side to make things a little bit easier. Now we need little steps and tricks like that because here comes the pain. Now we got a bunch of parentheses in there. Now there's negatives all over the place. Guess what comes after that? Fractions. Okay? So distribute and combine like terms, if at all possible. Stop that. Stupid Frank. Okay. Very first thing you should do is distribute. I only see a negative out in front of it, though. What number is there? Uno. So -1 by 9 is -9. -1 by negative v plus v. -5 by v. -5 v's. -5 by +9. -45. I forgot my Paxton line. Ooh. Now, I want to make sure that each side is as cleaned up as possible. Every time I run into a plus or minus, it's a new term. So when I look at the left-hand side, -9 and v, can those go together? No. -9 and v are not the same kind of critter. But on the right side, you owe me 5 violins. You give me 2 violins. You still owe me 3. So write -3v there. Okay. That was something that we still tripped up on a little bit when I was grading through those tests. We still tripped a little bit on that. If it helps you to do the scribble out thing, I should be down to at most 2 things on both sides. I got too many things, something must combine. Okay, now that I'm there, I'm just gonna zoom so it's bigger. There we go. My Paxton line is still there. And we say, move what? Careful this time. Okay, they want the variables on the left side first. So the first thing I'll do is add 3v. And if I write this a little bit off to the side, how many of us would accidentally say -9 plus 3? Okay? We like to keep v's lined up with v's, numbers lined up with numbers, because hopefully that'll keep us from making the goof. That zeroes out. I have a -45. I've got a -9 plus how many v's? 4. And then you play the who's lonely game. Who's all by themselves? Boy, isn't that saying something. And I will add 9 to both sides. I'll zero that out. Negative 9 plus 9 is 0. I've got a 4v left over. And what is negative 45 plus 9? Yep, you owe me $45. You paid me 9. You still owe me $36. Negative 36. V is still not by itself. Divide by 4, divide by 4. Show me that zero's out. Womp. And get. Do I need to flip the inequality? Was that a typo? Okay. This is negative. The thing I divided by was not negative. So I can go draw pink. I'm going to draw a closed circle, more ink here, more ink there. I'm going to draw a closed circle at negative 9. Womp. And to the left or to the right? To the left, to the left. Now slide. Okay. I suppose I should actually write the word left there. I think I've left that blank on like the last 3 problems. But I think we got it. All the same stuff that we've been doing, just watch out for negatives. Move your variable first. 2 to start. No parentheses or nothing. Just move variable first. Move variable first. Variables on the left. That's where they belong. You know, I feel all lonely up here. Everyone like running to the back of the room and hiding from me. Yeah.
I got you.
Leslie's gonna come be my buddy.
Here's buddy.
All right.
I got you, bud. I got you, bud.
Oops. And you don't have to be dead quiet either. Remember, this is when I want you working with your neighbor. I want you checking over the process with them. I want you asking myself or Miss LaCroix questions. Okay? Argue about the answers. Okay? Nuh-uh, you dingus, it goes the other way.
I mean, I could do that with you.
Okay. Oh, we're buddies now? Okay. Like, legit, this is the only class that I don't have someone up here in the front.
Now you do.
Yay! I have a friend!
You just sit here like this.
Okay.
The lounge here.
Yeah, that happens. Okay, got to move the variable first. How do you move the variable from the right side to the left side? And while I'm thinking of it, once those last 3 quizzes are done, I would be more than happy to hand them back. Some of you probably going to want to old school go put one on the fridge at home.
Wait, just because I want to do the one that I did last time.
Okay. Frame it,
Yeah, then of course I remember that.
put that 100% on a test right in front of your parents and be like, yo, buy me stuff.
No, I want to send it to my dad and be like, that's the buddy. I deserve that, you know. That bike you promised, like past 8th grade, you know, going to high school. Or that $100 quiz.
Yep.
My dad like saw my grade for this class and was like, "What happened?" And I was like,
mean,
You're in a class specifically designed for you,
yeah,
which is what inclusion algebra half is also supposed to be, and I know inclusion geometry is, but some people present things differently.
that's because you don't have an awesome teacher like you.
See, now you're making me confront my insecurities by having a compliment.
Well,
Those make me feel weird.
that's not what I ever complimented you.
All right, we should have. Who's got move? Okay, 2y. Got to move your variables first. I would really like if we all started having that Paxton line on there because I swear it does so much for us. First things first. When I say you move, you move. Okay. What? You a Ludacris fan too?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides, or 2y. And when I do, 3y's minus 2y's happens to just be y's. Yay. Play the Who's Lonely game. Add 5 to both sides. That's where that divider line comes in real handy. Then I can see that it is on both sides of my balance point. I show the 0, and I get womp, womp, womp. Y is less than or equal to 12. More ink here, more ink there, close circle. Y is less than the 12, so it's everywhere to the left where the numbers are smaller. Now, I haven't really been showing you the checks with these because there's no one way to check it. It says less than or equal to 12. That means you can pick any number up to and including 12 and put it in here, and it's going to be true. Let's say I picked something like 1. Something really easy. I said y was 1. Look at what happens. If I put a 1 in here, times 1, times 1. What's 3 times 1? Minus 5. Negative 2. 2 times 1. Plus 7. Is negative 2 less than or equal to 9? Yeah. That's what we mean by checking these is everything from 12 back is going to make it true because now it's inequality instead of equals. It's less specific. Okay, it's the difference between a Tai Chi master who's going to do something very specific, equals, versus blunderbuss in the general direction. That's an inequality. Okay? All right, this guy, same difference. we should add to B, get. Zero that out, negative 15 drops, 12 drops, 7 B's and 2 B's is 9 B's. Who else gets a little confuzzled by the 9 next to the B? Subtract 12 from both sides, play the Who's Lonely game. Show that zeros out, 9B drops. You owe me $15, I'm dumb enough to let you borrow another 12. Negative 27. When I divide by this 9, be oh so careful. Do I flip or not? I didn't divide by a negative. So it's a negative 3, and open circle here, more ink here, or sorry, less ink here, less ink there. B is greater than, so to the right, to the right. Cool. Okay. Womp. You flip it over, and we say, what the Sam G? There's parentheses and negatives and all kinds of stuff going on. We got this. And put down my Paxton line. I like that divider. What's the first thing you're going to do? I see parentheses. I'm going to distribute and combine like terms. So first things first, disturbert. When I draw those little spaghetti monster arrows, notice that I always start and end in that little butt crack, that little in between the sign and the number, between the sign and the number. That way I remember that's a positive 4 times a W. That's a positive 4 times a negative 2. Okay. I got a 4. This is a positive 3 times a 2. A positive 3 times a positive W. And everywhere I run into a plus or a minus, it's a new term. Plus or a minus, it's a new term. Before I go moving things around, I should clean it up. Before you go rearranging your room, you should probably clean out all the crap underneath your bed. Okay? So on the left-hand side, which of those monkeys goes together? Okay. 5 W's and 4 W's is 9 W's. Minus 8. On the right-hand side, which of those critters go together? 4 plus 6. Is that a positive 4 or a negative 4? There's not a sign with it. Because there's not a negative sign with it, I assume the positive. Okay. All right, now I can move whatever I want to. But wisdom tells me if I need the variables on the left for inequalities anyway, I should probably move my variable first. So how do I move a plus 3W? Show me that zeros out. 9 W's minus 3 W's is 6 W's. All gone. 10 is left over. Play the Who's Lonely game. Who's all by themselves, crying in a corner. Okay? Bring them a friend. Say, hey, buddy, let me introduce you to 8 here. Show me that negative 8 plus 8 is 0. So I should have 6 W's is equal to 18, not equal, is less than or equal to 18. W is almost by itself one last time. Divide by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. W is less than or equal to 3. I do not flip my inequality because I did not multiply or divide by a negative. It looks big and complicated, but when you take it one step at a time, okay? Any of you done sports? Like actually on a team, sports. I want you to think back to the first time, like middle school, maybe even elementary, the first time that you showed up on a field or in a gym and it's just chaos. There's kids everywhere, okay? You got to put on pads and a helmet, or there's basketballs bouncing everywhere, and you're like, oh crap, I have to do this. Did it look complicated at first? Maybe you watched an older sibling or just watched games on TV, and you're like, but they're like running all over there, and this guy just cut out of nowhere and zipped over here. Why did he do that? And it looked complicated, and they broke it down step by step. First do this, then do this, then do this. They didn't start by, all right, everyone, pick sides and let's play. You started with footwork drills. You started with just pass the ball back and forth. Get used to touching things, okay? Being around each other, okay? Get used to the movement. You break it down into little bitty pieces and you see the sum total of the entire game is just all the little junk that we've practiced. These two. Some of you are extremely stubborn. Please do not try to cram this into a space that cannot fit it. If you got to go to the back pages, so you got a little more room to work. If you've got enough room to work in the margins, okay. But please, don't just wing it. Don't try to squish everything into a space it's not meant for. Don't try to fit 7 kids in a car to go to Culver's for lunch. Give it some more room, okay?
So put 7 in a Ford Ranger.
I mean, if you lay down in the back, the city cops won't see it at least. Yeah.
So I'm kind of confused with the negative sign, and there's like no number in between there.
Then you put a little invisible 1. My pen ain't working. There you go. Remember those little invisible 1s. We've seen them a few times. Okay, work with your neighbors, argue it out. Got the same thing, same spot. What was that? I'm doing okay. So far, y'all have been good. Please don't BS this and just try to photo math it. Okay. The white 2 crew had their devices all taken away. I haven't had to do that for a few years. They're too busy dinking around instead of doing math. Said, I treat you like an adult till you show me I can't. If you need help, ask. I'll happily do the problems with you. I know Miss LaCroix will too.
They are?
What is that?
They're checking their shit and the work.
Noises. Me no likey noises. Noises painful, feel like ice pick in head.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Who's the brave soul? We are far enough into the year. Y'all just did it. Who thinks they can handle the one on the left? Elise? Go get them. What's the tricky part about that one? Right at the beginning, there's an invisible -1 there to distribute. Okay, you go do you. I'll be the narrator, I guess. Distribute -1 and distribute a 4. Looks good so far. Move your variable to the left. If it's a 4p, I'll subtract 4p because it was positive. Good. Those divider lines sure help. -3p minus 4p is -7p is good. And we remembered it was a -20. Okay, missing those negative signs. Boy, there's a lot of negatives in this problem. Hey, we remembered our inequality too. Okay. Before you go more, why did you flip the inequality? Okay, so remember when I said the book, when they see that negative in front of the variable, they just flipped it right away? Elise likes that method. Okay. Just got to be careful not to flip it again at the end. But if that's the way that makes sense for you, then you do you. I didn't even think of that. Good job. And then it's already flipped, so. Crushed it, kid. You get a big old mic drop on that one. That was perfect. Who thinks they got the right-hand side? Get them. This one's got a little bit of a danger zone at the very beginning, too. Be careful what you distribute on this. It's a -2. Okay? Everyone catch that? That it is a -2 you're distributing.
Never mind, I did this one wrong.
Uh-oh. Did we combine the 18 minus 2 into 16? Okay. But you see it now, though, right? Let's see if you can freestyle. Freestyle, right? 18 minus 2v's, -2 by -3, positive times. There you go. Okay. Which of those critters go together on the right side? Mm-hmm. I like that. Instead of, like, I do the boxes, okay? CJ's going to put the lines under there, so she knows these two go together. I like that. Looking good so far. No battle plan survives contact with the enemy. Okay? Sometimes you go back and look through your stuff and you realize, oh crap, like right away at the beginning. But if you see it, run with it. Okay? I like that you're showing all of it. Zeroed out kind of business.
That's 15, right?
That is 15, correct. Okay, you don't got your calculator with you, you phone a friend. God, even that reference, I suppose, is too old now.
Not really.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Is that still a thing? Anyone seen it?
They do reruns of it.
Okay.
Oh, I still got the same answer.
Purely by accident, same answer. Okay. Close circle to the right, to the right.
Once it like combined in the beginning, so I was like, wait.
Okay. That is a super common error, though, too. How many of us would see these and be 18 minus 2 is 16 and then go? You have to remember, every time you run into a plus or minus, there's a new term. And if these are new terms, then multiplication comes before subtraction. Very, very common error to make. You caught it on the fly. That's good. Okay, down below that. Oh no! Words! Don't they have it already written out for us?
Yeah.
But I'm going to walk through how they got it. Okay? Pete's out of sale. Shirts are $10. Pants are $15. He buys 6 items. Spends more money on shirts than pants. more money on shirts than pants. That means whatever he's got for shirts has to be more than whatever he's got for pants. Make sense? This is greater than that. Then, I know how much they cost. I know it's $10 for the shirts, so 10 times something. I know it's $15 for the pants, so 15 times something. But then I don't know how much they bought of each. This is, the big brain meme, like this is starting to get towards like level 3, where you're like, sparks flying out of your head. If I don't know how many of them I bought, what do I do for I don't know in math? What do I write for I don't know in math? A variable, okay? Now they used S because at the end of it, they wanted to know shirts. I don't know about you, but for me, S's look way too much like 5s. If I don't have to use it, I don't want to. So I'm going to just put an X there. And then off to the side, I'm going to say X is number of shirts. Here's the big brain part. If I buy 6 things, I don't know how many of each I bought, but I'm going to buy 6 things total. And I buy X shirts. Can't I take 6 minus whatever that was, and I'll get what's left? Think about it like, okay, we're around the holiday season. How many of you get a gift card from a family member? Okay, and it's like $100 to Walmart. Like, dang, thanks, Grandma. Okay, and you want to know how much do you have left for thing? Well, how much do I have left for thing if I already know I got to spend $40 on this? I would do something minus 40. It tells me what's left. I can do X away from 6. And that'll tell me how many of those I'm going to have. Should make sense, right? If it's 6 minus X, if this is 1, I bought 1 shirt. 6 minus 1 means I bought 5 pants. If this is 5, I bought 5 shirts, then 6 minus 5, I bought 1 pair of pants. Okay? That's why they wrote it out for us. Is doing this, that can be tough. That can be super tough. I got some kids up in Algebra 2 that'll not know how to do that. Okay? So that's where it comes from. You still just got to solve. Y'all said you don't like that X, so let's get rid of that S. I'm going to get rid of that. Replace it with X to make us happier. And then I want variables on the left, but before I can move variables around, I need to disturb it. So we'll have 10x. What's 15 by 6? 90 something. I heard a 90 and a 95. 6 times 5 is 30. Think of a clock. That's how I remember 5s. Right? 6 times 5 is 30 minutes. Okay? So I've got 90 total minus 15 x's. You were very, very close. I play the who's lonely game. I get my variables on the left. I'm going to add 15x, add 15x. Getting 25 x's is greater than or equal to 90. This next part is going to maybe confuzzle us a little bit. When I divide by that 25, you get a decimal or a fraction. Okay? 90 divided by 25 is what? 3.6 or 18 over 5 or 3.6, right? Now I want you to think about this. What was X in the problem? Okay. Was it the cost or how many I bought? The question at the end is how many shirts do you have to buy in order to spend more on shirts and pants? And we said X is greater than or equal to 3.6. Tell me, can you buy 3.6 shirts? I'll tell you what, some kids try. Number of kids I've seen rolling around, they got their shirt like right up in there, right? Okay, basically just wearing a sports bra to class, huh? Hey, you know what? Get it, girl. Okay, don't be policing bodies. But 3.6 shirts ain't really a thing, right? Can I buy 0.6 of a shirt? Can you walk into Walmart and be like, rip the sleeves off, take a little bit of the hem off and say, I want to buy this much? It doesn't happen. So how many shirts do you actually have to buy?
3.
No.
4.
Is 3 greater than or equal to 3.6?
No.
No. What's greater than or equal to?
4.
4. So down below this, I'm going to have to say 4 or more shirts. Flip the page.
You're looking at me weirdly, and I'm like,
Because everyone gets all weird. They're like looking at the clock. They're looking at this. And like, that's like 8 minutes. 8 minutes? I can't do this in 8 minutes. That means I'm going to have homework. Nah, pack it up. We're done. We will start here on Monday. Okay?
I want to stay for game club.
Yay!
I just asked my mom here, and my mom's like, I don't care. I want to get on for turkey while you're there. I don't care.
All
I
right.
had to ask because I was supposed to go job searching.